But he works on it all the time.
That's what I say. He's the most, in every fight, he's the most improved fighter. He always goes back and fixes anything he saw wrong.
He's won multiple world champions in 4 weight classes, from light middleweight to light heavyweight, including unified titles in 3 of those weight classes.
The star of boxing and pound for pound great, the 4-division world champion, the one and only Saul Canelo Alvarez.
Nowhere his mindset.
He gets up by Canelo.
What do you think makes the difference for you the night of the fight against Canelo?
Bueno, pues yo pienso que va a haber muchas cosas ese día arriba del ring, pero pues, sin duda va a ser una gran pelea.
Beautiful body shot by Munguia.
Good body shot, exposing Munguia's defense. For Smith, who's getting hit with bombs. Explosive bombs. And Munguia says, come on, give me a chance here.
He's so fast.
Anything. Hard left hook there.
Did Jaime Munguia just let his opportunity pass?
You look good, you look strong, but how are you mentally coming into the fight?
Bien, mejor que nunca. La verdad que mi mentalidad, mi mente, mi cuerpo, mi físico, todo está mejor que nunca.
On Cinco de Mayo weekend in Las Vegas, an epic Mexican boxing battle is set to take place. Canelo versus Jaime Munguia. Canelo Alvarez, a name that resonates with power and skill, is one of the most awe-inspiring figures in the boxing arena. Considered the pinnacle of pound-for-pound fighters, Canelo's legacy is written in boxing history for ages to come thanks to his unparalleled career. Equally, Jaime Munguia has earned his respect with his impressive record, knockout power and improved defense under coach Freddie Roach. While ESPN ranked Canelo 4th in their boxing pound-for-pound rankings, he was the only Mexican in the top 5. The upcoming match between Canelo Alvarez and Jaime Munguia on May 4th is a significant event in the boxing world. All eyes are on Munguia as he finally gets the chance to prove himself after years of striving for an opportunity like this. With an improved defense under coach Freddie Roach, an outstanding record of 43-0 with 34 knockouts, and a reach advantage, Munguia actually stands a chance to defeat Canelo.
Details once again at Saturday, May 4th, T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada. Saul Canelo Alvarez defense against Jaime Munguia, 12 rounds.
In this video, we'll delve into the depths of both of these fighters' previous fights, their strengths and weaknesses, and how they can use their abilities to win the ultimate battle on 4th of May. Don't forget to like and subscribe and to stick around until the end for our prediction on who's gonna win this bout. Canelo's fighting record of 62-2 is among the most impressive ones in boxing, but what's even more impressive is his style, technique, tactics and strategies, which are both unbelievably effective and ridiculously entertaining to watch.
About what's in front of him, we are 1/3 into this prize fight.
Canelo employs a diverse range of techniques to overpower his opponents and leave them defenseless in the ring. His relatively narrow sideways stance.
Here, Canelo's not giving no inch. He hasn't moved back.
Good. That's a great hook by Canelo Alvarez. Flashing off with the hook after he threw many jabs to set that up.
Combined with a forward squared-up guard, is a unique setup that allows him to execute moves that most other fighters can't. This strategic approach is a key factor in his success. Canelo's stance allows him great mobility, which allows him to move toward and away from his opponents very quickly. This linear mobility not only enhances his attacking agility, but also makes him a difficult target to hit. Before going into further details, let's look at Canelo's offensive game in general, which has one central principle, the same principle that Bruce Lee discusses in his book, Tao of Jeet Kune Do. The principle is simple. To be an effective fighter, you must be fully present and be able to adapt to the situation, knowing when to advance.
Tricky style.
When to pull back and be on the defensive. If you're a long-time follower of Canelo, you'll know that he's the embodiment of this principle. Using this principle, Canelo concentrates his energy on the most effective move, instead of wasting it on things that'll work against him.
Jumped in the fight. Look how loaded this shot is. Oh, Canelo Alvarez.
As we discussed earlier, Canelo's stance and his use of a high guard allow him to get close to the fighters, break their guard, and land deadly punches. The high guard is when a fighter puts his hands in front of his face, shrugs his shoulders, and curls his back to take the blows from the opponent.
It consists of putting your forearms and hands in front of your face, shrugging your shoulders, and curling your back to better take blows head on.
This stance is usually used defensively. Still, Canelo uses this guard to pressure his opponents by using it offensively. He begins by pushing forward with this stance, pressuring the opponent toward the rope, but the high guard encourages the opponent to throw punches, as it's a defensive stance.
The high guard itself, while being a strong defensive position, is only as effective as the person using it and their ability to mix other tactics in with it.
Canelo carefully studies the timing and pattern of the punches while he protects himself. And when he's gathered enough information, he starts countering the punches and starts landing some deadly counter punches. When it comes to counter punching, Canelo has mastered it, enabling him to connect shots that other fighters can't see coming. Part of this mastery is his ability to be present and notice openings that others would miss. No matter how he does it, his counter-punching makes him really stand out from the crowd. And when he uses it in conjunction with his other tactics, like his aggressive high guard, it becomes an unstoppable force.
Tremendous uppercut for Alvarez. Left hook lands for
That's just one part of Canelo's arsenal of lethal weapons. We haven't even discussed his jab yet. Canelo used his jab frequently as a young fighter, and he was pretty effective with it. But as the size and quality of his opponents grew, he had to change the way in which he used his jabs. Canelo started using it to put pressure on the fighters and push them onto the ropes. He also uses his jabs to set up deadly combinations that are both effective and entertaining. Additionally, he uses the high guard to conceal his jabs and keep the opponents in suspended terror as to what's coming next, all the while pressing them into a corner.
right hand catches
Kirkland's legs stiffened a little bit from some of those shots. Like I said, he's
But this often leaves Canelo exposed to counter punches.
simultaneously with terrific power shots. Oh, good shot, Golovkin. Great uppercuts. And the body and Floyd Mayweather in the blue.
Fortunately, Canelo's shockingly accurate head movement protects him in these situations. Again, this ties back to his offensive philosophy of staying present, reacting effectively, and knowing exactly when to react. Combine this with his fluid and well-balanced footwork, and you have a defense that's really hard to beat. At his weight, Canelo has impressive mobility in the ring. He's usually light on his feet and floats around the ring like a butterfly. Now, let's look at some of Canelo's past fights to understand how he's used his strengths to beat his opponents and how he can use them in his upcoming match against Jaime Munguia. Stick around till the end of the video, where we reveal our prediction for the Canelo and Munguia fight. First, let's talk about the fight between Canelo and Billy Joe Saunders that took place on May 8, 2021. Canelo won the match via 8th round RTD. This fight was a great show of Canelo's overall fighting ability. He used his power to rock Billy several times. He also used his reach effectively to close in the gap and throw long punches that proved detrimental for Billy Joe Saunders. Canelo was able to land effective punches round after round until the fight got stopped in the 8th round.
Canelo acting like he's already knocked him out. And it is over. They have stopped the fight. They have stopped the fight. It is over. Canelo gets the knockout win. I'm not sure what happened to the corner of Saunders. Nevertheless, the pound-for-pound king with another win in the Lone Star State. When the going got tough.
Although Saunders had some success early on, Canelo was just faster, and Saunders wasn't able to handle the pressure put on by the Mexican beast. Canelo versus Bivol. But sometimes Canelo's pressure just falls short, especially if we have someone who's able to outpace Canelo and keep him at a distance. Well, that's exactly what Bivol did against Canelo on May 7th. Dimitri was pretty fast, and he used his jabs effectively to control the distance and prevent Canelo from landing any significant power shots.
He'll be
manufacturer, and he's going to throw that jab a lot. In his last fight, 76% of his punches were jabs. Talking to Bivol's team this week.
Canelo, who's known for his outstanding power and disciplined approach to boxing, was simply not able to handle the Russian's pace and counter-punching ability. While Canelo was throwing powerful shots in the first 5 rounds, eventually his power wore down, thanks to Bivol's defensive ability. When Bivol noticed this, he started becoming more and more aggressive.
Hooks, overhand rights being landed by Canelo. Oh, look at Bivol. Look at him go. Oh, my word, Bivol. And Canelo wants more of it. Back and finally staying in control, not giving up control.
This is where Canelo has to be vigilant in his upcoming match to ensure that he's able to find the right balance between preserving energy and throwing power shots so that he can stay active until the end.
One of those shots could have went down. Very strong chin for Canelo.
Stay tuned for our upcoming preview of Bivol versus Beterbiev, an epic lightweight heavyweight championship bout. Canelo versus Sergey Kovalev. That was the only time that Canelo had been defeated since 2013 because getting him down is very, very difficult. In his upcoming match, Canelo has a reach disadvantage against Munguia. But this doesn't mean much as Canelo has faced bigger guys in the past, such as Sergey Kovalev.
Kovalev, a full 6 foot. He also has a decent reach advantage.
The match against Kovalev took place on November 2nd, 2019 for the WBO light heavyweight title. Canelo dominated the fight despite the size difference and won it in the 11th round via knockout.
Here. I think I'm still waiting for 4th gear.
Canelo having to move his head because Kovalev's not even committing to it. Here it is. Kovalev's hurt. Kovalev's down. Kovalev's out. It's over. That fast. There's 5th gear. Canelo is the light heavyweight champion of the world.
Canelo put on a masterclass of boxing and used his strategies to perfection. He showed his ability to be present in the moment and adapt to the situation.
He is able to adapt his fight plan, fight by fight. He looks like a very different fighter than we saw against Daniel Jacobs last time out.
He was initially more passive, but as the fight progressed, he adapted and started landing his crisp counterpunches that wore Kovalev down. Canelo also used the high guard and jabs to pressure Kovalev, and it worked wonderfully.
Winging with that hook and that glancing blow the side of Kovalev's head.
And now we know why Kovalev was touching. See the first punch of bad intention that Kovalev.
Canelo eventually landed a 1-2 combination in the 11th round that put Kovalev to sleep, making him the WBO light heavyweight champion.
WBO light heavyweight champion of the world, Canelo Alvarez.
Canelo versus Caleb Plant. But he did even better in his match against Caleb Plant for the super middleweight belt. The fight was a history-making event, with Canelo joining the ranks of only 6 male undisputed champions in the 4-belt era. He became the first undisputed Mexican fighter in history, making it a significant milestone in his career. This fight's great for understanding the points that we discussed earlier. For instance, during the fight, Canelo used his high guard to perfection, and despite trying his best, Caleb wasn't able to land any significant shots. Canelo, on the other hand, landed some powerful body shots that did significant damage and wore Caleb down.
Canelo.
Thanks to his footwork and pressing abilities, he could control the distance, choosing when to step back and when to lock in.
Continues to put on the pressure. High guard in that lead left hook.
Munguia, strengths and weaknesses. Canelo will fight Munguia on Cinco de Mayo weekend at T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas on May 4th. The fight is highly anticipated and expected to be a thrilling matchup between 2 of Mexico's best pound-for-pound boxers. It'll be a historic event for Mexican boxing, as it'll be the first full title unification bout between Mexicans during boxing's 4-belt era. A lot of people are saying that Munguia actually has a chance against Canelo. Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. expressed his preference for Munguia. I like Munguia the most. It's going to be difficult for him to win. That's why Canelo grabbed him, but I hope to God he wins. It's good for boxing and it's good for everyone. He's very humble, he's a good boxer. If he'd fought one more fight, I'd put my money on Munguia, but with Freddie Roach in the corner, there's always a chance. Strengths. Before we make our prediction, let's examine Munguia's past fights and his strengths and weaknesses to get a sense of what to expect. Munguia is an aggressive fighter. As he's also Mexican, He and Canelo share a few things that are typical of Mexican fighters, such as the use of a high guard and a more aggressive pressuring style. One of the ways in which Munguia builds an attack is his aggressive jabbing.
There's advantages to being a complete unknown, and this is the advantage that Jimmy Kelly has.
Munguia has developed an impressive jab that he uses not only to attack and put pressure, but also as a defense.
Well, Shermetta fights with the hands-up defense. He usually comes forward with the hands-up, and offense is his defense. Both these fighters like coming forward, and it's a fight for who's going to be more offensive.
He does this by throwing rapid jabs both to the head and body. This confuses the opponent as to where the next punch is going to come from. And by doing this, Munguia leaves no time for the opponent to attack.
I want to delve into Munguia's style, exploring his strengths and weaknesses inside the ring.
Well, a good attack, as they say, is often the best defense. Here's what Robert Alcazar, his past trainer, had to say about Munguia and his jabs. The jab is not only a weapon that can spearhead an offensive attack, when used with proper spacing and timing, it can be a defensive shield. Effective use of the jab will make the long reach of Munguia a more efficient fighter. Basically, right now, he's a puncher fighter, and I'm trying to make him a puncher boxer, the other way around. So I'm very focused on teaching him to get the distance and use the jab and have great leg movement. And then there's his footwork. He's usually light on his feet and moves around the ring quickly. He's also incorporated the pendulum movement that he uses effectively to evade danger at key moments. Weaknesses. But Munguia has some key weaknesses that Canelo can easily exploit with his superior abilities. The first one is Munguia's lack of head movement. Although Munguia is quick on his feet and good with his jabs, he lacks the adequate head movement that Canelo has, which helps Canelo dodge attacks and counterattacks. Without the head movement, Munguia is at high risk of getting caught up in one of Canelo's deadly viper-like counterpunches. Munguia usually keeps his head stationary after throwing a power shot or combination, which gives the opponent the opportunity to land some nasty blows. He also has the habit of dropping his guard. All Canelo needs is one such opportunity to land his power shot, and it's game over for Munguia.
Chris, how do you have it?
I've got Jaime Munguia up significantly.
Trades with me. It'll be a short night.
Another thing that Canelo can exploit is that Munguia's aggressive and pressuring stance leads to exhaustion at times. If Canelo takes a balanced approach and defends like he did in the Caleb Plant fight, Munguia might get fatigued in the final rounds. This is a problem that Canelo himself has faced in the past, so he must have some awareness of it. Keeping all of this in mind, we pick Canelo to win by knockout in the 9th round or later. What are your thoughts on this thrilling upcoming fight? Who do you think is gonna win? Let us know in the comments below, and like and subscribe so you don't miss any upcoming content.